All right, I think we got this working. Hold on one second, I just need to mute my own computer. I think we have this going. Oh, I just need to get my own chat up in. Actually, I probably don't need to. I will anyway. I don't know a better way to ask if it's working other than just straight up ask. All right, fantastic. I think we still have to wait a little while before YouTube is satisfied. But in the meantime, I guess I can play some music too. There we go. Those levels all right? How's the size on the text too? Is that readable? Awesome. Fantastic. Here, my dog just pushed open my door. I'm going to go close that real fast. Cool. Awesome. Well, I guess I have never live streamed before, so we'll just see how this goes. Make sure to yell at me and tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'll be monitoring chat as best I can. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to prep for my next session. I am typically a very prep light DM, but I still have to do some prep work. I like to come in with just a little bit of an idea of what I'm about to do, just so I'm not going completely off the cuff. There we go. And let me adjust the OBS real fast here. Okay, cool. Yeah, you actually really care about the text, not so much my face. Makes sense. Okay. So long story short, right now my party, we're in our next session tomorrow will be our 8th session of this campaign. And so they find themselves in sort of a big city, and sort of they're trying to collect some information about some other misgivings. They're trying to make contact with a spy network. And so last session, what I thought they were going to do is fight a wyvern that was sort of guarding the entrance through a tunnel into the city. And they didn't end up fighting the wyvern. Instead, they pretended to be carrion crawlers and snuck past it. They did find a dead group of adventurers and got some treasure from them. And they met one member of a rival party that was hiding in Liamon's tiny hut. They sort of threatened him and he retreated into the hut and then they left them alone. So because I didn't fight the wyvern, that took up a big chunk of what I thought was going to be the session. So most of what I did last time was sort of off the cuff. And the end of it is they met this Goliath named Otto. Otto was like a low-level member of this spy organization. And the reason he's a low-level member is because he likes everyone to know that he is a spy. He doesn't keep a low profile, like kind of boast about it. And so they try to get some information out of him, and the long and short of it is they're going to do him a favor, and then he's going to introduce them to someone who can actually act as a spy. So real fast, I probably should have been typing all that out when it happened, but I guess I'll just do that later. Why recap? Normally what I do is I send out an email to my players either the day before, like today, or the day of the campaign. It's usually like 1-bit lore or like peering behind the DM screen, like why I use certain mechanics, and then one part recapping what happened last, just some quick little bullet points. So you know what, I'll just do that, why not? Because I'm going to do it anyway. They did not. They snuck past the wyvern, pretending to be carrion crawlers. They threatened the rival party, who then hid in hut. They met Otto, the Goliath, who just insists he's an ox cart driver with a big old wink. And Otto asks favor. And then they found their way to the abandoned chapel. To retrieve a necklace from a statue. Yeah, pretty standard stuff, right? The ploy was that a long time ago, Otto was supposed to go on a mission to take this necklace and replace it, switch it out with a fake. But for some reason, the mission got canceled. And then when the church fell in disrepair, as far as he knows, the necklace was never changed out. The real one is still there, but the rest of the church has sort of fallen apart. Why the churches have all fallen apart is something they haven't really asked about, but this entire level of the city's done like 4 levels. There is the squalors, the people who labor live at the bottom, then the people who trade, and then the people who pray, and then the people who fight, the nobles, are at the very, very top. So it's sort of like the French 3 estates, but with a bonus estate of merchants. I don't know how to spell retrieve, so I'm just gonna say get. Whatever. All right, so we need to think about what's gonna happen in our next session, all right? Session 8. All right, so I need to put some things inside of this temple, right? I think the necklace itself is going to be, where the necklace is going to be trapped. I saw this cool video by Wally DM. I'll probably link it sometime, where he's talking about a trap that he saw in an old book. It was a statue standing over a pool of water with a spear in her hand. And then whenever the trigger happened, the spear like thrust into the water and somehow conducted electricity. And anyone in the pool or anyone touching the statue got shocked. And so I'm going to clue that off to the players. So that's sort of the end goal, right? The very final thing is going to be the trapped necklace, the trapped statue. It's going to be a brass / copper spear. It's going to be copper. What am I talking about? Brass. Copper statue. Spear rusted. So the oxidation at the very tip of the spear sort of be a key off to the players that something's going on there. And then I think in the pool of water around the statue, there we go, I might as well write this down. Statue, whatever. Yeah, I guess you guys are going to find out what a terrible spelling I am. So this, yeah, thanks, Matt. So this pool of water around the statue, at the bottom of it, there's going to be coins that sort of oxidized together and stuck to the bottom. So players who just want to try to pick them up, they'll figure out that they're stuck there. And I think the circuit will only be complete when someone like approaches the stone pedestal of the statue. There we go. Complete when touch copper statue. The base is stone, and that won't conduct any electricity. Yeah, this is completely kind of counter to that one video I made about science and magic. But this is sort of a fun little thing, I think. I think in retrospect, looking at all the different clues, oh, the tip of the spear was oxidized, the coins were all stuck there, it will make sense. And I don't think it's going to actually tip them off until they actually fall for the trap. There, it will make unlimited roasted chestnuts. Why is this important? Well, because there's a siege about to come. via siege, and auto knows it. Yeah. Yeah, Brandon, what I think I'm actually going to do is something a bit better than this. I think I'm going to take this part of the prep, and then I'm also going to try to record some of my game. I'm going to ask my players tomorrow. So I'm going to record some of these cool bits of the plane, and then I'm going to do like a post-mortem session too. I'm going to smash it all together and make, one pretty good video. That's my plan, at least. We'll see whether or not I get around to it. I'm kind of busy with my actual side gig. Okay. So this trap is not going to be a deadly trap, right? I mean, at least not to the players. They're probably like 3rd level. So this is going to be sort of like a setback, which means that something in here probably should be deadly. This church is crumbling, and so I need to think of some sort of baddies to put in there. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Have the footsteps change as they approach the statue. The floors will be metal. But you know what? We'll make it a disadvantage because it's going to be underwater, so they really have to be paying attention. Ah, yeah. Metal plates closer to statue. Like I'm imagining like the pedestal of the statue is in a pool. So you have this pool of water, and then the statue base, and then the statue with the spear that's going to shoot down and complete the circuit. So you make different noise. Noise / feel different. Yeah. Wow. Boom. Cool. All right. So this is the trap part. I'm gonna put a little subheading there just so I can keep everything straight. Okay. But I think there also should be some sort of monster inside this abandoned church. I'm not gonna worry too much about making a map because I have a whole bunch of dungeon tiles. So what I'm probably gonna do is just get a whole stack of them and then just lay them out as I'm feeling for it. Like, okay, I think there needs to be another chamber here. I think they need to make a left turn just for pacing reasons. But I do want some sort of monsters in here. So this is an abandoned church. And it's an abandoned church to the green god, Gaia, who's sort of the god of nature and the arts and elves. A stained glass golem. Ooh. So that's an interesting idea. The glass probably fell apart onto the floor, but it was like a magical thing, so it sort of came back to life as like a guardian. That's not a bad idea. You could use like a, So what sort of properties would a glass guardian have? I think maybe an iron golem might be an appropriate challenge level, but it might be vulnerable to different types of damage, probably vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. Vulnerable to blunt. And then because it's, probably also like the other golem properties, probably immune to poison, psychic, etc. Oh, glass golems are really a thing? Have a radiant element to them, yeah. Okay. They can cast the equivalent of Guiding Bolt. Equivalent. Which I think just does some holy damage, and then you get advantage on your next attack. Which would be pretty nice, because these things aren't going to go that often. It's like going to be a one monster, and you want to at least hit when it does hit. I'm also thinking that an abandoned church would also have some sort of like crossing to another plane, maybe. I don't use planar elements all that often, but like maybe some part of it got connected to the Feywild somehow, or like a darker part of the Feywild. Are there any evil Fey creatures? Maybe just do like because the church got abandoned, some of the parts got crossed over to the Shadowfell, sort of the dark, shadowy corners of the crushed over. Does that make any sense? But corrupt. Maybe there's an evil treant. Nope, twig blights. There we go. There we go. All right. Cool. They're sort of spilling out of sort of a rip into the Feywild that was there because the Green Church fell apart. Cool. Okay. Okay. So they'll probably find this thing first. Yeah, you know what? I think putting the statue at the far end of the church makes sense. We can put these like guarding some treasure, right? Somewhere. And like maybe a side room. Okay. Cool. So what sort of treasure? And we got some ideas? All right. A stash of musical instruments. That's great. That's perfect. Wow, that's a terrible one. So +1 to hit and +1 DC to saves if using as spellcasting focus. Which is perfect because none of my players are bards. But no, then they'll have something interesting just to carry around with them, maybe trade later on. And it seems legit, right? Oh. So hags are like a whole other side plot in my game. One of my friends who recently moved away, he was a player in my home group, but now he is playing a hag in my campaign. I gave him a bad guy sheet for him just to look over, and so I give him emails every once in a while. So I go, hey, what's your plan? And then he emails me back. So he is the elder granny in a coven of hags. And the hags stole one of my players' character's sister, and they're all doing all sorts of other nastiness. So I'm saving hags for something else. Okay, yeah. Put that in there. Cool. So you know what? That is, I think, 3 encounters. That is probably enough for this temple. Maybe some sort of trap, maybe some falling debris. Just to make one of these fights kind of interesting, or either this fight's going to be interesting with the golem, or the trap's going to be interesting. One of those things might be deadly. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking, Nicholas. That I think maybe like a lyre or one of those panpipes. That makes sense because churches are also places of music and worship, especially the green goddess Gaia in my world. She's also associated with all music. She is the creative muse. Cool, so that's going to be the church. All right. So now I need to think about what's going to happen after this. So once they go to the church and get this necklace, they're going to probably want to bring it right back to Otto, the person who sent them out on this mission. And so what does Otto want to do? I have a little bit about him. I'm going to go ahead and refresh myself. Otto's a low-level associate, and Otto pretends not to be involved anymore. Awesome. There we go. There's everything we need to know about Otto. He pretends not to be involved anymore. Ox cart driver, that's his little cover story they keep saying. Otto brags a bunch. What's the opposite of keeping a low profile? And so once he gets his necklace, he's going to try to set them up. He's going to tell them to go rest for a day. So we're going to have some probably exploring in the city, which is fine. They have some errands to run, I'm sure. But so we need this other associate now. To a real spy. Someone who's actually a member of these whispers, not just this person on the edge. All right, so I need a name for this spy. So the scene I'm imagining in my head is I want this person, this new spy, to sort of find them in like their hotel room or in their tavern room. Otto says, okay, go out and rest. Oh, make this call, and then someone will approach you. And then later that very night, somebody sort of sneaks into their room and with a cloak over. There we go. Let's write that down. Someone sneaks into their room with hood and cloak. All right. We're not going to be at all subtle here. We want them to sort of imagine the scene very vividly in their minds, right? Wow, this L is not working. You know what? Fine. L is just now 2 L's. Whatever they want. But that one I have to change back. That just drives me crazy. Yeah, good luck, Charlotte. This starts in 40 minutes. So who is this person, right? Who's this person that's gonna come sneak in there? A half-elf maybe? Yeah, this person's going to be a half-elf male. And he's probably only going to use his code name, right? What's his handle? What's his street name? We'll call him Furry. Nope, that's going to get too many giggles. We'll call him Harry. There we go. A cape of elven kind. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. That's exactly what he has. Yeah. Okay. It's half-elf male. He's going to be a spy for the Whispers. All right. What the party wants. The party is looking for information about who stole Solski's altar. Right now, I'm running through sort of the framework for my adventure is the Ghost of Dragonsfire Keep. It is the D&D Next adventure that they released at Gen Con in 2014, I think. It was the only full-length adventure they published specifically for the playtest. And it's a really great story. And so I sort of took the framework of that and sort of molding it here. So there are these altars that get stolen, and each altar has a seal on it. And in the original adventure, these seals are what unlock the Temple of Elemental Evil, right? They're for the Princes of Elemental Evil. But in my game, what these seals are going to do is when you break them, they're going to open a plane portal to the Shadowfell all over the place. And there's a death cult who's trying to loosen the veil between life and death. So they're all after these altars. One of them in their starting place got stolen. That was sort of the first adventure hook. Try to find this dragon who stole the altar. Really the dragon, that's twice I used the quotation marks, really the dragon is an illusion projected by some hags. And they stole it on the request of this death cult. So this death cult is after this altar, but they don't know that. And that's what they're after. They're looking for information about who stole this. Okay. And what the spy wants? Ooh. So I think actually Google Docs sort of sketches out sometimes. Like it, actually I know it does. Okay, what the spy wants, he wants more information. But what? What does he want to know more about that the party probably knows? He wants more information on what's happening. With Lord Harbeck. Lord Harbeck is a weak old man, sort of an incompetent ruler. His keep got attacked by the dragon I just talked about. and his son is going to end up being the major villain. Right now, his son is regarded as a hero, but that is about to change. So the spy wants more information on what's happening with Lord Hardback because there's a war going on, and if the spy knows what this person's defenses are, the information can be really valuable for the highest bidder. Okay, so in addition to gold, they want to know that. Cool. So, but this half-elf male, Harry, he needs a personality too. I need something to make him sort of sing to my players when I have him there. No, this is not Secret of Mana. This is... I cannot actually read this. It's all verklumped. I think it's just one of those, just some Korean lo-fi. Alright, so Harry, the male elf, he needs a half-elf, he needs a personality, right? So half-elves are supposed to be charming, but this guy is a spy, so I think he's going to do most of his speaking with his eyes, right? And so this is one of the cool things about using indirect roleplay, right? So I can just say this. I can say, okay, well, most of the time what he says is communicated just through really, really deep looks to you. You can sort of intuit his meaning with the few words that he speaks. So I don't have to come up with this dialogue or actually like really act out these crazy stares myself. I can just give the players that impression and they can like understand, oh, okay. And that's how they'll remember him. They won't want the really intense eyes. But he's also soft-spoken when he does speak. Very few airy words. With a majestic beard, he's a half-elf, so I think that's kind of like the joke. He doesn't have facial hair at all, and so everyone in this area calls him Harry. Yeah, I actually just stole that from my friend's game that I'm playing, and he has this dwarf without a beard called Whitebeard. That just cracked me up, so thanks, Jordan. Alright, I think that's enough of him. He's probably blonde hair. Green eyes. If there are blue eyes, people would think of Dumbledore, and I don't necessarily want that. Okay. So you know what, Harry, you're going to go ahead and I'm going to boost you up. Awesome. Okay. So that scene is not going to take too long. The spy is going to request some information from them, and they're going to request information from the spy. And then there's going to be some exchange of gold and maybe some veiled threats. But I'm not really sure what else the players are going to want to do. So, because I don't know what else is going to happen, I'm going to make some random encounters. Okay, so here's what I mean by random encounters. I use random encounters all the time, but they're not necessarily random as in I just roll on this chart and see what pops up. Normally they are randomly timed encounters. These are things that, interesting encounters that I want to run anyway. I'm just looking for a spot to slot them in. But at the moment, I don't really have anything planned out. But they're in a city. I can think of some urban adventures here. How about they get mobbed by children? If they're in the slums, there we go. They get mobbed by children begging for food. But one is a pickpocket. Only one of the children is going to be a pickpocket, not the whole lot of them. Should probably stress that. And then I'll roll a sleight of hand check and see if they notice it. And that'll create sort of a moral dilemma whether they're going to shake down all the children or just catch the one. There we go. What is another interesting idea for a random encounter in an urban environment? Grell. Yep. They're going to be down a dark alleyway somewhere somewhere, and they're going to find a dead body. He was assassinated. And this is sort of going to be just something. There's going to be a setup. And then the grell is going to be the real monster right there, right? They're going to be looking at this body, but something else has already come to sort of seek the body. And it sort of like leans over out of... I'm going to write this down, right? Oop, no more bold. It falls down from supports. So, you know, in a lot of older buildings where they're trying to build a second story, they have logs that extend over where the lower walls would be. That helps distribute the weight through a wider area, and so you can put more and more stuff on top of it. That's how those things stick out. But anyway, there's going to be some grell wrapped around there. They'll have to snack on this dead body they find in an alleyway. You know what? Not assassinated. Because that's, you know, sort of like leaves them on a bad trail. It'll be like a red herring. He'll just be a drunk who died of old age. There we go. Old age. We'll do medicine check there. / liver failure. Medicine check DC 17, right? To determine his cause of death. But the grell falls down from supports and attacks them. Cool. So that'll be a cool instance of a randomly timed encounter, I think. Awesome. Okay. And I probably need one more. These are both... These are in like 11, right? I do, for a random encounter, I have them roll a d12. And on an 11, it is either an environmental encounter, such as being mobbed by children, because they're in an urban environment, or it is a medium encounter, right? These grell are going to fall down, right? I don't think I have enough grell minis to kill them. I think I have like 4 grell. Does that have to kill third level parties? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Maybe they're 4th level now, I forget. Yeah, I think they're 4th level. Okay. And I need some hard encounters, right? Maybe... So what is a sort of deadly urban encounter? So how about this? In the merchant tier, they can... A gang trying to rob a warehouse. Yeah, a drug den. Not the Yuan T. They sort of hold a significant place in my lore. But yeah, trying to rob a warehouse. You know, no, that wouldn't make sense because the warehouse would be under heavy guard because there's a siege coming. Trying to make a drug deal though. I like that one, right? The city officials, like whatever the city officials are. I forget who's in charge. Let me look this up real fast. Who is in charge of the city? Duke Vilric Lazar. Yeah, so his people, they're not going to be so much concerned with things like drugs because they're going to be really, really concerned about... Ooh, try to see if I can fix this again. 1 second, folks. Awesome. Cool enough. They're not going to be... So the Duke who's in charge of the city, he's not going to be concerned with... He's going to be the Duke who's running the city, I'm sorry, he's going to be really, really concerned with keeping his food supplies safe because they're expecting a siege any minute. But so all his troops are going to be protecting the warehouses and the grain stores. So they're not going to be out patrolling looking for drunkards or looking for gangs trying to make a drug deal. So this one's really, really nice. Yeah, awesome. But I do like kind of the idea of it being kind of monstrous. Maybe it's a gang of were-rats. How do you spell were-rats? Yeah, I think there's already a gang of those like statted out somewhere, maybe in Out of the Abyss. I can look it up real fast to sort of get a feel for their personalities. Oh, shoot! I just saw this, Charlotte. They die from an older support that collapsed. That's actually a really good idea. You're probably running your game now, but I like that. Okay, so I need one more. This will probably be a deadly encounter, right? So I'm gonna have not just like normal game members. I was gonna have like their boss show up, right? Show up. What's the commotion? Commotion. And he looks and talks like Daniel Day-Lewis. In Gangs of New York. Perfect. And you know what? I probably am going to just straight up say that too. So I think a lot of people get that image in their head. And that's sort of what I want. We're trying to build this mental movie together. And so I am perfectly okay with just saying, hey, it's like this person. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So we have them clearing out this temple. That's probably going to take maybe an hour or so. They're going to have to talk to Otto. They're going to have to go around, do some shopping. They're going to meet this half-elf. And then we have some random encounters snatched out. And then I think they're probably going to try to leave the city. Which means I don't really know what they're going to do. I have a pretty good idea of all the pieces around them, though. I know where there's a civil war going on right now. These southern troops invaded up in the Northlands. And Barrow Wedge is the little city right between the south and the north. So the Southern Army passed right by Barrow Wedge to go raid and pillage up north. And so the city of Barrow Wedge is expecting the Southern Army to come and siege any moment. But I think if they leave the city and go wandering around, they still have to try to fight the Wyvern. They might feel powerful enough to do that. That could be something that happens. But they try to leave the city and go wandering around. I think I'm going to have them find one of these armies, one of these outriders, and have them captured. I think that will set something up. I'll give them the opportunity to flee or whatever. But I think having them captured by one of these two armies, and we'll have them roll to see which, would be a way to sort of impress upon them the urgency of the situation. If it's the southern... Okay, here we go. Captured. Maybe. So if the South forces capture them, they're going to be put on some sort of mission to find the Northern Army. What's up, Creatron? No, actually I don't like that. If the North captures them, right? Because one of the players is a scout for the North Army. Like, that's his backstory. And so far, he's sort of ignoring that because he's, just going along with the group. But nominally, he's supposed to be scouting for the Northern Army, but he just gets sort of mixed up in all these things. So if the North captures them, they're going to be put on a mission to find the Southern Army and report back. If the South captures... So... what would the Southern Commander want? Actually, I have a pretty good idea what the Southern Commander would want. So what the Southern Commander wants is information on Harbeck 2. He's going to try to capture that keep. And he knows that these people are friendly. So get them to betray Harbeck. And get intel on keep, or go inside and like raise the gates / open secret entrance. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So what are the conditions to let them get captured? I think they have to be on the road. That means they're not trying to cut through the countryside. So if they're on the road, they're definitely going to get captured by one of these two armies. Some outriders are going to find them and try to bring them back to their main camp. Ooh, pardon me. Yo, is Matt Perkins still around? I got this mug in Australia, dude. Okay. Yeah, if they're resting on the road, they're definitely going to get captured. But maybe if they're in the wilds, right? If they're trying to cut through the countryside and they roll a 12, that's how these outriders are going to show up. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. And then we need some other stuff. What other places could they go? They might try to go back to Harbeck and just talk to him anyway. I'm sure I really don't need to plan all that much. I already know what Harbeck's going to say. I already have his personality down. Yeah, you know what? They have a lot of options here. They can go fight the Wyvern. They can go clear out that swamp temple that they failed to do. They can go figure out what happened to Dame Erie. Yeah. Go to Keep. They find the Southern Army advancing. Because that's what I have a second friend who is playing the leader of the Southern Army, right? So I have two friends playing antagonists in B lines. The main villain is still under my control, and that's sort of like the main plot. But these two subplots, the one with the evil hags and the one with the North-South army, the main antagonists behind those I put underneath my friend's control. Pretty nifty, right? Here, I will go ahead and show you what that looks like real fast. Ooh, can I maybe zoom in a bit? Oh, that's too much. Oh, you know what? I can't get this all to show up on OBS. One second. There we go. Cool. Haha. Okay, so this is sort of my calendar for my game, like what's happening when. And it started on the first day of the year, Paratheon Day. And so I'm tracking their events, the things that they do, along with the things that the villains do. So 24 days in, Auntie Cankerwaller left her lair. And this was the character that's under my friend's control. Here are the things that they do. And then here's where we stopped, right? And then these events in red are things that are going to trigger if they don't stop them. These are things that either the villains are doing or the beeline antagonists under my friend's control, like what their plans are. And so their plans are going to unfold as the characters advance. This yellow bar represents like the current time. And in the background is this whole thing about the harvest, right? As long as the Southern Army is advancing, as long as the Southern Army is in the field, they are standing between the city and their grain supplies. As long as they're standing there, the city and their peasants cannot harvest that grain and they're going to starve. So the army has placed itself between the city and something the city must defend. It's grain fields. And so unless they can find a way to dislodge this army, which I don't think they're going to be able to do, they don't really have any allies on that scale yet, one of these cities is probably going to starve to death and capitulate, which will be pretty nifty. Anyway, they go to Keep, they find the Southern Army advancing. They might be able to sneak in and find Dame Erie, who took over their last mission. And they have another mission they could be doing. They could try to go to the ruins. of Corn's Hold, I think I called it, where this other girl asked them to go. So they have and they could also go fight the wyvern. Okay, so they actually have a whole lot of options here. So this whole thing in the city is going to take, maybe a couple of hours. And then if they leave the city, we have a couple different things that they could go do that I already have a pretty good idea of what that's going to look like. And I also have these big maybe, something that could throw a huge wrench in everyone's plan to get captured by one of these armies. Yeah, and I think that's going to be a pretty good session. I think I may be able to fill in some missing blanks with some other encounters, like maybe, I don't know. What do I have here? Oh man, yeah, totally. Okay, so I got this, this camera gonna focus? Got this Griffin mini right here. That'd be a pretty badass outdoors encounter, right? Okay. Add that in here, the outdoors ones. A Griffin. Okay, so the Griffin needs to be doing something with the terrain, right? Griffin on the rocks in canyon, right? Okay, so the canyon's going to scoop down on either side. Sharp V. So it's going to sort of narrow them into a choke point. And there's going to be a Griffin sort of dive bombing in at them. That might be okay. Yes, Joan Dudley. That's where the wyvern is. The wyvern is occupying one of the few tunnels into the city, and so as long as that wyvern is there, they can't get back and forth. Oh, Mr. Grency, just 2 sessions ago, I had a whole pack of gnolls trying to eat goats. So maybe the Griffin is under the command of somebody. What is a semi-intelligent sort of thing out there? Like maybe a smart hill giant? Is that possible? You know what? We'll have another of a Goliath tribe. Maybe? Oh, an air elemental. That's not a bad idea at all. Usually I have air elementals be more like forces of nature and not something entirely smart, but I think maybe an air elemental has a secondary encounter and in a canyon with winds. We'll have an air elemental summoned. Yeah. Okay, so this Griffin can no longer be in a canyon, but it can be in a bouldery area. Oh man. So the Ganassi. You know what? Ganassi have a special place in my fiction. They're not sort of, I know the standard canyon is they're half genie. In my world, they're made by this one particular wizard who is sort of a sideline NPC in our last campaign. And the few of them are left that could be roaming around. So yeah, maybe he's under the command of the last Air Ganassi. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah. That is awesome. It's just sort of a throwback. One of my players who played in the last campaign would appreciate that. Oh, I know where this person came from. And for everyone else, it might be an interesting bit of lore if they want to explore that. Yeah, the person who made the Air Ganassi, Master Fry, he was one of the great druid lords of the Wood Elves. And all the Wood Elves are now extinct because my last campaign, the heroes failed their 18th level quest. And they all got TPK'd. So all the Wood Elves went extinct. They got turned into pillars of salt. But I think I want Master Fry to have escaped. I think he was wise enough to understand what was happening. And so I think he probably escaped one of the outer planes. But his creations, the Ganassi might still be roaming around. Awesome. Okay, you know what? I got more than enough stuff for a session. This is plenty to play 4 or 5 hours of D&D with. Okay, and I have a meeting with somebody, with imaginary Jeremy, actually, here in a few, in a few minutes, about my super secret project that's about to become a reality. So, I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm going to try to record my session tomorrow, and then I'm also going to do a post-mortem to see how the two went together. All right, and I'm going to figure out how to stop streaming right about now. Catch you later.